So for starters, I removed all these panels that go around here, also next to the seat belt and as well to the back seats. See right now, literally easy. All you gotta do is just while being careful at the same time, pull them up and they'll just come right out without even breaking. This panel right here with the hood latch goes, it's 2 clips that it has. So once you remove the panel over here, the long one, then you could take this one out. So just to be on the safe side, it's literally all in order, in a sense. You take off the long one that goes here first, and then you're able to take out this one. And for the rear, you have this piece that goes under the seat, which you could just pull off as well, lightly. Don't yank it. You could do this lightly without breaking anything. Once you take off this one, you're able to take off this panel that goes right beside the seat belt. So once you take off this whole panel, you have all this opening, right? So I pulled the rug towards out, let's say. I pulled it away and I started running my wires through under the rug. I didn't do it like on the side. I try to just be more clean with it. So I tried to put it under the rug, which you can. I'm not gonna say that it's hard. It's actually easy. So you can actually run the wires under. I have all the wires right here, right? But I already know more or less the length that I need in order for me to go to the front. So I started off here and left some wire to play back here. And once you actually got it all in there, as you can see, I pulled this part of the rug a little bit up to take it off this tab. There's 3 tabs right here that are holding the rug. Once you pull it out, you actually have a little more access to under the rug. And then I came through here, and at this point, it's all depending on you, depending on how you want to do it. I, for one, I put it on this stock harness. I ran the wire right next to it so it could look like factory, which at the same time, that's the only thing you can do unless you want to run it behind the rug still and come up from the rug itself. But I chose to do it this way, but you could do it differently. All depends on yourself. You know, like, you could make it as clean as you want. You can run it through where you want it. I'm just giving you an example, you know? And I ran it all behind all of this stuff here, the fuse box and everything. And there's let me see if I can get light for you guys. Give me 1 second. So you see these 2 harness right here? You see where they're running through? They're running through this like grommet from the stock harness that is right on the firewall. This big thing right here, I was able to push it aside a little bit and run my positive and negative wire through there, and it's still sitting pretty flush. That's one thing. If you're gonna run it the way I just did right now, you gotta make sure that when you're all said and done, that rubber piece seals around it, just in case, because water does get in the engine bay and you don't want water coming inside your car. Which, another way that you could do this is you could splice a little bit of that rubber just to make a little hole in it, and you could poke the wires through there so it could run to the other side where the engine is located. But as for me, I didn't have to, because like I said, I kind of have an idea, and I'm pretty sure once, let's say if you're trying to do this, you'll see what I'm trying to show you and you'll get the idea. So for me to get to the wires, as you can see, this is both positive and negative, right? I took off the the bracket that's holding the battery in order for me to put my hand back here. All I did, I didn't have to take out the battery. All I did was just push the battery a little forward like this, stuck my hand back there because I was able to see the wire sticking out from where I was taking it from. Well, taking it out from. You're able to see it, literally. It was a little tight, but you were able to see the wires. But you see what I mean? Literally easy. Some cars don't even have that perk of having that harness the way we just saw it on this SI. So sometimes, you know, you have to find other ways. But luckily, Honda came through with us and helped us out on that one. So yeah. So guys, you see how I had the wires that were under the seat? See how I explained to you guys of the wire going through the side of the car, positive and negative, for both harnesses, because I have two harnesses there. There's one harness that goes for the second compressor. For those who get the Airlift 3P with the second compressor, it's a separate harness that the compressor comes with. So there's one that gets connected with the main harness. I will show you on a diagram right now. And as you can see here, this, you connect them together, and then the other side of the harness goes straight to the battery as well. So yeah, once that wire was ran to the front, those wires that I had behind in the bottom of the seat, I ran them under this like spare tire cover, let's say. I ran it right under it, as you can see, and I came through here. Now, to show you guys how I have this is where the creativity comes in. So I took this thing that's under where the spare tire is supposed to go, because technically, you know, this is where the spare tire goes, under here, but this car does not come with a spare tire. So it came with this and this little air pump that helps you leak off when you have a leak in your tire or whatever. There's a liquid in there. So yeah, this is what it basically comes with. It does not come with a spare tire, so it comes with that on here, and then the dealer gives you whatever they want to give you. But I took this and I put both my compressors here, and I'm putting my management here on where this is supposed to go. This, I'll find a place to basically put that away, but I'm putting the management right here. Everything is bolted down already. No worries of it moving around or anything. I made a little hole here for me to run the airlines, and so I could plug in the management. Same thing goes over here. I made a little hole down there to get the positive and negative wire and the line of the compressors out. So, you know, this is what refills your tank. So yeah, as you can see, look at the wires coming out through here. Let me put it on so you can see how it would look once it's actually. So just to show you guys here, so these two wires are coming out of the plastic thing, which are the positive and negative of the compressors. Then on your actual 3P harness, there's also positive and negative, as you can see right here. Here I got to solder both ends together. Apologize for that. So I soldered both ends together and put some electric tape here, just so it could be constant power running through both wires, I mean. So yeah, both sides are done. Now to find a nice little space to at least have these secure, which are the relays. These you don't gotta really do much as long as they're all connected and they're snugged in there together. Just gotta find a nice place for them to just sit, nothing to disturb it or make them pop out or anything, and at least somewhat reachable, just in case if you have to ever replace them. Check that out, guys. Doesn't look bad at all. Clean. Wouldn't you agree? Simple, you know? You don't gotta go crazy, at least. So for those that have an SI model, I'm not sure if it's the same thing for all the models, but I'm pretty sure it might be. But you know how with your airlift harness, you need to have at least an accessory wire. This is what basically turns off everything once the car turns off, and when you turn on the car, it turns on the system. Because if you have it direct, it's gonna drain your battery. So you need to have, you know, something connected to something that's accessory. So I come to find out that the one that worked out perfectly fine for me is this one right here. It's an empty one, and this is my SI, for example, right? I don't know if the other models are the same, but for this SI model, I'm guessing all of them will be the same. So if you look at this, on top of this one, it says 40. So if you go down 2, that's 42. And as you can see, it's empty. So that's where I'm tapping in to put my accessory wire for my airlift management. For example, there we go. Obviously, when you have an airlift harness, if you buy a brand new, it will come with this cable. So if you don't, I will try to see if I could get you a link in order for you to get it. I'll put it in the description, but this cable is very important. Makes everything neater and much cleaner. Well, neater, cleaner, same thing, but what I'm trying to say, it's much safer than you just putting a wire somewhere, tapping it into something else. This has a fuse that if something goes wrong, it will blow the fuse before it messes up anything that's more important. So this is the way to go. So I took out this whole fender liner for the rear quarter panel. This is the driver's side rear. And I found this grommet here. And of course, I did a little split at the end of it almost. Ran the airline, put some electric tape back on there. It's nice and tight. I know for a fact no water is gonna get in through there. Just gotta make the splice a little small. Even though it's a small grommet, but gotta make it small. Make sure you basically puncture the airline through it so it could just stay very tight on the actual airline. And then with the electric tape, it just, you know, helps it all out. So for the passenger rear, I found this grommet that's basically under the whole body of the car, which I think that will be perfect because at the same time you have this cover here in front of it. You know, if you cover that up good, which I'm pretty sure I could pull that up from the inside of the car, tape it down good so nothing gets in there, and I know for a fact I could get something going there. But let's see. I'm gonna try that out right now. So under the seat is that grommet that I was showing you, and look at that right there. You could definitely work something with this one. So I'm gonna throw an airline through here to get it to the passenger rear, and then run it with the stock harness, put some zip ties or electric tape up, down, and run it through there. So as you can see here, got it taped up. Nothing will be coming in through here. And yeah, I zip tied the airline with the factory harness, running that way to meet with the others as well. And some might look at this and be like, oh, but it's by itself. What if it's the seat on top of it? Will it stress it out or anything? No, because the seat on these cars, if you see them yourself, they're super cushiony. Like, there's no hard material at all. And even somebody sitting on it, I don't think it would do any damage to it, to be completely honest with you. I'm not that worried. But as we continue over here, the line came out through, of course, like I told you, from that grommet that was down there. That grommet that is down there, I mean. And I ran it through here. I'm gonna put a zip tie here, one around here, and yeah, it reaches to where I'm going to place the bag. And when I say that, because you could play, you know, you could spin the bag to where you want it, to where the fitting is at, to make it easier for you. But I'm going to put the fitting of the actual bag away from anything, so it most likely will be back there. But yeah, for the front, I removed some clips that go on this fender liner over here just so I could get myself some room to pull this forward a little bit. And I found my grommet right there. Got it all secure. Nothing is definitely going in there. And at the same time, this area seemed to be pretty dry. No debris or anything. So it doesn't look like anything really gets in here. So in a sense, I'm not that worried. But I still did it correctly. Just to be better safe than sorry. But yeah. For those who want to know where's a little grommet to throw the airline through, it's right there in the wheel well. So what we're doing here is we're taking out stock suspension and we're going with these beauty Flyyair air suspension. So for starters, I did it right now because I just wanted to make sure. But as you can see this side, how it looks just by following these steps. So to make this process very easy, to start off, when you're about to take off the suspension on this car, you got to take off the 14mm bolt nut, the 14mm nut that's holding the end link on both sides. You got to take out both sides at the same time. So you take out this side on the left, then you go to the right side, take out the 14mm, and so what you got to do first is you got to take out the 14mm on the end links on both sides. When you're about to do this, you have to take out the end links on both sides. If not, you're gonna be here the whole entire day figuring it out. When you drop the end links on both sides, this spindle will have more play in a sense. If you was to take out one end link on one side and leave this one, this spindle will never go down. You'll be here. You could tell your friends to put their legs on top of the rotor. It won't go down. So take off both end links before you even start taking out anything to remove the suspension. That's your first step. End links come off first. 14mm nut. Then you come over here. It's a 12mm bolt. Take that out to release the brake line. Take this piece also for the brake line off with a plier. Take it out from the back. Then you come on this side and you take out the 17mm bolt. And once you take out the 17mm bolt, this 12, and take this off, all this stuff off, this spindle, you could literally wiggle it and bang it with your hand a little bit and it will come down. And if you do need to, you could put some pressure with your leg here. You could put your foot right here and just wiggle it also with your foot and just drop it down. And this is how it will look installed. Well, for bags at least. If you're not doing bags, it's practically the same thing for coilovers, just coilovers if you've installed coilovers before. But check it out. These air suspension come with these stainless steel lines. I zip tied a small portion into the end link. Since I ran the airline through the grommet in here, I made sure it's all nice and tucked where nothing will touch it. But I know for a fact this will work out perfectly. So the rear, I do the same thing as the front. You have a little end link here on the bottom of the lower control arm. Well, in the lower control arm, right here is a 12mm bolt, which I already took out, which is right here. Already took it out. But I take it out on both sides. I don't just take it out on one side, I take it out on the other side as well, because I just like to play it safe. Because if you leave one, like I said, the same thing how I explained the front, it can happen to the back. So I just take it out. Once I'm starting, I take off anything that's connected to an end link just to save me the trouble later. So start off with the end link. Then once you remove that 12mm bolt on the end link, come over here. I jacked up the lower control arm just a little bit, just to give it a little support and release some tension on it. And I'm going to remove the 17mm bolt. So again, make sure you remove both 12mm bolts on both sides on the end links, which is right there. Then you come over here, take out the 17mm, jack it up. Make sure you jack it up because, you know, this is holding the spring and there's a lot of tension there. I don't know, there's some cars that you could just take out the bolt and it's not that much of a bad thing. Like there's no tension on it. Some cars are like that and I've seen it. But this one, just to be safe than sorry, just put a little pressure into it with a jack, hold it up, and be safe. As you can see, I loosened it. Now I'm just wiggling it out. Once I do that, I lower my jack slowly. And as you can see, you release the spring. All you gotta do is bring down the lower control arm and that's it. The spring is out. Also works if you're doing lowering springs. This is exactly what you do for the rear. That's it. Once you take out the spring, you put in a new spring, jack it up with your jack, put the 17mm back, and that's it. Just make sure that you put the spring correctly, because you know they have a groove on how they're supposed to go. And if you look at the stock spring, the top, it's like a bigger circle compared to the bottom. Most likely the new springs are probably the same way. Now if you're going full coilover, which in a sense, you know, you gotta do the shock absorber as well. Same thing with these bags, I gotta change the shock absorber. You gotta take out all the clips and the Phillips that are right here. Sorry, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Phillips screws, and then the rest are clip. If you have a tool for that, makes life easier. If not, you can use a flathead. Just make sure you do it slowly so you won't break them. So yeah, there's all over the place. You will actually see it. But yeah, if you're going to change the shock absorber, you got to take out all of this stuff because the screws are basically under here. And I'm pretty sure you could probably do it with an extension, but if you just want to do it correctly, not mess up anything, and do it easy and fast, just do it the right way. Trust me, you'll save a lot of time. Here's the finished product: Flyyair air suspension, shock absorber. I had to take out the rear quarter panel liner in order to do this, in order for you to get to these two 12mm bolts. So I don't think coilovers you have to swap out top hats, but with this set of bags, I had to put the stock top hat on here. Stock top hat you don't gotta worry about in the front. They already come with a camber plate, but the rear you gotta use your stock ones, which a lot of coilover companies do the same thing. Sometimes they send you theirs, but majority of the times you will see that you gotta take it out. And for you to take it out, literally it's easy. For example, on this car itself, just this car, it's a 14mm bolt, well, nut that is holding the top hat on top. Once you take that out, I took it out with an impact gun. I didn't have to hold it down with anything. Just did it with the impact gun real quick. A 14mm nut on top, then this comes out. You don't gotta compress anything, it's just straightforward. Once you do that, you put it on the new shock absorber, and normally they come with a brand new bolt themselves. You just do the same thing you did. Now, if let's say you hit it with the impact gun and it's just spinning, what I normally do, I take a microfiber towel, I double it up, triple it up, however you want to do it, just make it thick, and I use a set of pliers and I hold it down. I pinch the microfiber towel so they won't make any marks on the actual strut. As you can see, nothing happened to mine because I'm playing it safe. I'm using the microfiber towel. Again, use the microfiber towel, put it, hold it down with the pliers, hit it with the impact gun. You don't gotta OD with it in a sense, just until it's tight, and that's it. You don't gotta violate. Like I said, you could just give it like a hand tight with the impact gun if you have that, or if not, you could use the Allen key and a wrench to tighten it down, you know, to specs. But since I have an idea, that's why I feel comfortable doing it how I do, because like I said, I have an idea already. But yeah, again, remember, you always got to loosen up the end link. I haven't put the bolt back on this one because I got to do the other side. But take out both end link bolts on both sides, 17 millimeter. Once you take this one out with the jack, also have it up. Once you take this bolt out with the jack, you slowly lower this while the spring comes out. Remove the old spring. If you're doing shock absorber as well, this is a 17 millimeter bolt as well. Take this out. It has like a nipple on the spindle so it can line up. You just gotta, you know, push it off of it. And like I said, two 12 millimeter bolts on top. Sorry about this, guys, but I completely forgot to record this part. So for the rear bags, once you put them onto the lower control arm, they come with this plate and a bolt, right? So this screws under the bag. So once you have the bag in place and it's on the lower control arm, you put this plate and you stick the bolt in there and you screw the bolt on the bottom of the bag through. Obviously, it's like basically sandwiching this whole thing. So this, what it does is holds the bag right there without moving. So imagine if you was to install the bag, you don't put this, the bag is just, you know, once you hit a dip or anything, it's going to move around. So this prevents that from happening. So before I show you the whole finished project, also just wanted to say something, is that this video was intended to, you know, give you guys an idea on how to install the air suspension in this car, right? And to give you ideas of where to run your airlines if you guys don't know where to do it. Or, you know, like I said, it's just to give you guys an idea of where you could do it in this car. It wasn't like the full blown out how to install the whole system, because there's also videos out there in YouTube as well of them showing you how to install an Airlift 3P management system, right? So I'm coming on this video to show you guys how to install the suspension, at least on this car. And if you're planning on going bags, where to run the airlines, where you can run them, you know, just to give you an idea, because next, you know, you probably might find somewhere else to run the airlines, you know, but at least I'm trying to show you what I was able to find. And like I said, share the idea. And also, at least this kind of shows you if you're planning on installing your springs or coilovers, if you're not going bags, because again, you know, there's those options as well. At least you have an idea on how to do it on this car as well. But if you have any other questions when it comes to the air suspension and the installing, I will do my best to explain it to you. Just comment below, ask away. And like I said, I'll do my best to explain it to you through the messages, comments. And yeah, we could get something going. No worries about it. Just ask away. I am willing to help out. And again, if you guys are liking the video, definitely smash that like button. Definitely think about subscribing. It will help out the channel. It will motivate me more to make more videos, especially there's more parts coming in. And yeah, again, thank you. The other 2 videos that I have posted already, they've been doing good. I'm guessing it's helping other people as well too. Hopefully this one Definitely helps a lot more now, since, you know, we're talking about suspension. Once if you're looking at this video, you're gonna see I'm most likely maybe one of the first people to finally, put up a video on how to install the suspension for this car if you don't know how to install suspension. But hopefully this, for the first time people, in a sense, that are installing their own suspension, hopefully this helps you guys out, bro. And guys, check it out. The finished product. Bagged. Oof.